Good morning and welcome to another Monday morning, and we are about a minute away from 10 a.m. East Coast Standard Time. As always, I like to ask, how was your week? This week, or this weekend rather, we here in South Florida were expecting some semblance of probably Category 1 hurricane, but thank God it kind of shifted further north and up the coast from us, so we did not experience as was expected. But that's good news, and we will take that every time. Certainly, hurricane season is one of those times when we always prepare for the worst, but expect that we don't get the worst. And fortunately, this time we did not. All right, I hope your week went well, and if it didn't, you have the opportunity once again, as I always say, to not do what you didn't do last week, but advance yourself even further from the thing that you wanted to do last week. Good morning for those who have just joined us, and welcome to Inspirational Vitamins, your word for your week. This week, the word is paradox, but before I get into that, I just wanted to take the time out to thank you. Those of you who have tuned in every Monday, those of you who have shared this video every Monday, I want to thank you for listening for this. Basically, I call it inspirational vitamins because, you know, some of you every morning you get up, you take your vitamin D, you take your vitamin C, and all the other vitamins that you take. And one of the reasons why you do that is basically to build up your immune system. So certain things that you may encounter, whether in the atmosphere or in the environment that you're in, that you are able to withstand it and don't fall prey to it. And the same thing applies here. I try to give you a word for the week to focus on sometimes, rather than focus on the experiences or the situation and circumstances that you have been going through, or maybe you have experienced during the week. So this week, the word is paradox. And I know that for some of you, you are thinking, okay, what is that all about? Well, here's a definition for what the word paradox means. Seemingly absurd or self-contradictory statement or proposition that when investigated or explained may prove to be well-founded or true. Let us begin this morning by breaking down what a paradox looks like. Here are some examples. Dan and Allender and Tremper Longman III, they wrote a book in 1998, and the title of that book was Breaking the Idols of Your Life. Here's a quote from the book, and I want you to pay close attention to They said that in the book, that very line, strength is found in weakness, control is found in dependency, and power is found in surrender. Two opposing thoughts or views that usually contradict each other, but in the final analysis make sense and bring truth. What opposing thoughts have you been struggling with lately, or maybe even for quite some time? Perhaps every time that you want to do something that is good, there is some bad things that happen that disrupt everything that you had planned to do. But in the end, it works out for the better. Or perhaps you have been thinking of retaliating, revenge, or payback to someone that have done you wrong. And in the midst of all of that, something happened that radically and completely changed your mind. For some of you, after operating a business for 7 days a week, you're open 10 hours a day, perhaps. And then something just triggered in your mind. Maybe you have gone somewhere and heard someone probably share their experiences that you don't have to open 7 days a week. And you decided that I'm going to close on Sunday. And when you close on Sunday, something happened. Your profitability went up. You drastically increased revenue. So you went from 7 days, maybe 70 hours a week, to 6 days, maybe 50 hours a week, and you're making more in revenue and you have more business. That's a paradox. Hear me this morning. Whatever paradoxical feelings or thoughts that you may have, they are not necessarily crazy. Think about it. If you pursue them, it may add value that you would not normally achieve. And finally here, with emphasis added here, Elijah was a young prophet and he goes to battle against a king by the name of Ahab. And before the battle started, he got two visions. The first one was that there was going to be a famine, and he declared that. No rain, you know what a famine is. No food and all of those things that are involved with famine. And the second vision, in the midst of that, it's going to rain. So in one hand, he's saying there's going to be a famine. The next hand, he's saying it's going to rain. Two contradictory statements, but at the end, as it turns out, it was true. When we talk about a paradox, we're talking about two opposing views that normally, when investigated, turn out to be true. This week, you may have faced those things. You may have been thinking, why is this? It doesn't make sense to me. But believe me, trust what you're doing. Pursue it. And at the end, you'll find out that, yes, it makes sense. And it was not just me thinking of something crazy. So hear me this week. As you pursue your week, keep that in mind, because you may encounter that same scenario like many others have, and make the switch or make the adjustments, and then at the end, they find out that it pays off for them. As always, share this with your friends, your family, your loved ones, and join me next week, same time, same place, for your word, for your week. Until then, have a great week.